German sociologist Theodor Adorno wrote on all things demagoguery in his 1950 book, The Authoritarian Personality. These writings seem especially poignant given the current American political climate and the increasingly noticeable similarities between the Trump administration and Senator Joseph McCarthy's erroneous war on communism in the 1950s. A demagogue is defined as a political leader who seeks support by appealing to the desires and prejudices of ordinary people rather than by using rational argument. These two leaders emphasize that the modern demagogue is a form of charismatic authority. They are considered to be extraordinary individuals who are the only ones able to solve the problems of the American people. These charismatic demagogues exploit the media of their time to manipulate pre-existing tensions and prejudices within the public, employing the psychoanalytic elements of demagogic speech to cast themselves as authentic leaders, addressing the problems of populations that had been historically disenfranchised from political discourse. Adorno characterized demagogic speech as possessing four elements. Paranoia.
For some time last year, Trump even carried with him a handwritten list of people suspected to be leakers undermining his agenda. He would basically be like, we've got to get rid of them. The snakes are everywhere, but we're getting rid of them, said a source.
Projection.
Hillary Clinton is a bigot who sees people of color only as votes, not as human beings worthy of a better future.
Disinhibition.
Am I allowed to rip that whistle out of the mouth? I'd rip that. I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him.
Narcissism of the demagogue.
No, that's other people that do that. I don't. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius.
And the follower.
Obama is a Muslim, he's a terrorist. Nobody will ever tell me different. Do I have proof? No. Do I have articles? No.
But your mind is made up without any information.
My mind is made up.
Trump utilizes Twitter not only as a means of free publicity for himself and his political rhetoric, but as a way to establish and maintain the illusion of a personal relationship between himself and the American people. The nature of Trump's narcissism is well established, and his offer of participation in his greatness appeals to and inflates the narcissism of his followers, as it gives them a sense of power where they previously felt powerless. This illusion of power over policy is derived from his informal, inclusive dialogue over Twitter and his validation of legitimacy of their prejudices. The observable loss of social constraint is due to his disinhibition.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Trump incites feelings of paranoia within the public to encourage support for his agenda and vilify his opposition. Through exploiting pre-existing fear and creating a sense of urgency, he further casts himself as the only person who can fix things, and characterizes his opposition as the source of their problems. Through discounting the validity and legitimacy of his social and political opponents, they are established as being synonymous with lying and corruption for self-gain. Through this form of projection combined with the associated feelings of paranoia, disinhibition, and narcissism, followers see Trump not only as their savior, but take on that mantle themselves, believing that they are integral to protecting the American people and their interests. As these behaviours, initially attributed only to Trump, have been taken on by his supporters, he no longer has to constantly reinforce this rhetoric as it is applied independently, cementing his sense of legitimate authority.
These ideologies, which emerge from such tumultuous political climates, serve to bolster the narcissism of the demagogue and their followers. These ideologies aim to increase the legitimacy of demagogues' leadership. However, these socio-political values do not have their foundations in evidence, but are derived from deeply held prejudices, validated by rhetoric.